was the one that required?
Yes, sir.
Oops, didn't actually assign anyone to that. Aggressive assaulter. Maneuver. So I think that Dempsey is going to be the chief of the army. Yeah, division speed, especially when I'm doing hit and run stuff, is going to be really important. Which then means that chief of the army. Oh, Brooks starts as a maneuver genius. But I can bring Dempsey in for much, much cheaper. We'll bring in Dempsey and then train him. And then that means that I want to have Richard O'Connor for mobile infantry. Jacob Pieter Musial, thank you very much for the follow, and Chris Stead, thank you also for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Walkenlek under the command of Monty. Claude won't like that, no. So what did Dempsey do during the war? Was he one of the ones that died like really early on? Is that paused? Yes. I'm going to look this up, I'm curious. Hello, Windows, thank you. I'm fairly sure I've looked this up before, I just don't remember. Why is he so good? Miles Dempsey. Oh, he died in 69. He was around a while. Senior British Army officer, served in both World Wars. During the Second World War he was in command of the Second Army in Northwest Europe. Highly professional, dedicated career soldier. He made his reputation active service. Highly thought after by both his subordinate superiors, most notably Bernard Montgomery. Although he still remains less well known than other Montgomery or subordinates like Horrocks and Richard O'Connor. Commanded the 13th Brigade in the Battle of France in 1940, spent 2 years training troops in England, commanded the 8th Army's 13th Corps in the Allied invasions of Sicily and Italy in 1943, commanded the 2nd Army during the Battle of Normandy and made rapid advances in the subsequent campaign in northern France and Belgium, which is why he's an aggressive assaulter. And what did Richard O'Connor do? He was another one that survived the war. Commanded the Western Desert Force in the early years of the Second World War, field commander for Operation Compass, in which his forces destroyed a much larger Italian army, and a victory which nearly drove the Axis from Africa, and which in turn led Hitler to send the Africa Corps under Rommel to reverse the situation. O'Connor was captured by German reconnaissance patrol during the night of April 41, spent 2 years as an Italian prisoner of war. Eventually escaped after the fall of Mussolini in 43. In 44 he commanded the 8th Corps in the Battle of Normandy, and later during Market Guard. Would be neat to add a relationship and rivalry for High Command, like Person X doesn't want to work well with Person Y. Yeah, that would be interesting. Regards from Poland. Hello to you in Poland. Are we looking to save France today, or are we going to avoid Dunkirk by not being there in the first place? I mean, we're still not actually allied with France, so I can't go there yet, but that's why I'm assembling my motorised forces. I'm going to use them. At great expense, I should add. So we'll have O'Connor's motorised, trying to bolster the French where they can, and then Harold Alexander basically holding the coast. We still got like a year-ish. turn on the laptop cooler. I was like, my laptop is too hot to touch right now. Where is it? There it is. Let's whack you up to full. Let's whack you up to full. It's just like an exhaust pipe coming out the back, just like, here's all the heat. I should go and open the curtain, the window, because it's getting hot in here. This laptop, when it gets going without proper cooling, could heat the entirety of Sweden in the middle of winter. Okay, so we just got... Oh, that was the Navy one, wasn't it? Britannia rules the waves. So we can now get the advancements in convoy defence, which will give us the faster construction speed of frigates. Which I'm totally okay with. Yeah, let's do that. And we can also get a naval doctrine, in fact 2 of them. So we're definitely going to go for the convoy defence. Oh, here's where damage control is. And they don't get the doctrine cost reductions. Interesting. There we go. What tanks do I have in stock deployed? So the tanks I have deployed right now are these absolutely amazing template. It's beautiful. Which consists of 15 Lanchesters and 75 Vickers Mark 1s. Like, fear the British Armoured Corps right now. But also I'm building Matilda 2s. They're just very slow because they're very modern. Three of them a month. So hopefully I'll have a couple of them before the war in Africa breaks out. A number of communist delegates from around the world met in Paris today for the founding conference, laying the groundwork for what is to be known as the Fourth International. Calls for its formation have existed for years, with supporters of Trotsky's theories taking the lead. I was not kidding, this laptop is actually too hot to touch right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tab out to something just like Wikipedia. I'm just going to leave it for a minute or two just to calm the hell down. In fact, I have a boosted fan. This might get noisy, but I'm going to ramp up the fan to maximum just to blast out the hot air. Never bother with convoy escorts. I never feel like the enemy subs hinder you at all. Well, they're definitely not going to hinder me. Where's the Navy right now? England. We're not at war. Right, I'm going to go and open the window. How can it be so bright outside and yet so cloudy? You're in a Nordic country now, enjoy your sauna. Indeed. I'm just going to give this another minute or two. Meanwhile, I'm going to read about other commanders, because this is interesting to me. So who else is really good in the game? Alan Brooke was the commander of the Expeditionary Force, I believe. Yes. Chief of the Imperial General Staff, the professional head of the British Army during the Second World War, promoted to Field Marshal in January of 1944. Foremost military advisor to Winston Churchill, had the role of coordinator of British efforts in the Allied victory in 1945. Brooke only just qualified for the Royal Academy of Woolwich, coming 65th out of 72 in the entrance exam. But he passed out 17th. Had he done any better, he would have qualified for a commission in the Royal Engineers and would probably not have ended up in the General Staff. Showing that initial lack of success can be invaluable later on. When will I get a PC? 1st of July. Any specific reason I'm in Sweden? Because I work for Paradox now. I'm the community manager for Stellaris. But it's a bank holiday. Yesterday and today. Hence I'm streaming at 10 to 1 during the day. Right, I think my laptop has cooled the heck down enough. I'll leave the Mega Fan on for a bit longer just because it actually seems to be doing a really good job. That was one of the things that actually made me get this laptop. It's like, I know that gaming laptops have a heat problem, and then there's a big button which is just like the red button. You press this if things get too hot, and then it just blasts all of the fans at like maximum speed. Not something you want to leave on for long because it sounds like a flipping jet. Like even with my headset on I can hear it. It's loud. You might even be able to hear it through the microphone, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you can. The Bristol, that is the transport ship, aeroplane? Yes. And we don't have any other... Well, no, that's not true. We have the Blackburn that we want to get as well. Hurricane we get in just 6 days. That's going to be good. Can I bring in Auchinleck out? Yes, I can. No, it was O'Connor I want. O'Connor, then Auchinleck. When will Kaiserreich come back? When I'm done with this. Really bad at playing these games in single player and not using the console. I should really start playing them legit. Yes, you should. That's so much more fun. I mean, I'm not one of these idiots that says, oh, you've got to play a game in a certain way. I just have my own preferences. Because it's what makes it fun for me. If you like using consoles and get a better time out of using consoles, fantastic. Go for it. I should probably get signal companies for the tank divisions. Yarp. Let's do that. Any of these things I need to do? No. Alright, so now we can bring in Richard O'Connor for the mobile infantry.
Ready to move.
Right, and I never did assign these. Do I want Alan Brooke to be in charge of my defences here? Yes, because you have an entrenchment buff, and that's all you're going to need. And then we want to have, like, low-level commanders for this. Because these are just garrisons. So let's go with Scobie.
Ready.
And... we actually have a jungle rat. McReady is the motorized. Well, no, he's just not as good. He is another motorized guy. Arthur Percival. And then this is the Gibraltar force. In fact, you know what? These are the Mountaineers. The Mountaineers I probably do want to have somebody who is fairly good at commando stuff, so maybe we'll put Browning in charge of them. And then Gibraltar, or Beckwith Smith. Nah, Browning. He's just better. Put Powell in charge of. Wait, no. How do I want to do this? I'm not going to want Mountaineers. I'm going to want Marines. I'm being an idiot.
Ready.
And Browning is probably going to be the one in charge of the Marines. He's got 3 attack as a level 2. That's really good. So no, let's not use Browning. Do I have anyone else that's a decent defender that I'm not going to want for other duties? Hutton. No. Mr. Anderson. Or Schreiber. All of these guys have a high chance of being wounded. Can everyone stop getting shot? William Gott's an excellent defender, but he's a bit too high level. I think we're going to go with Mr. Anderson. And that's what we want. Brooke is who I meant, because you were flashing up something about that. There's nothing there. You could be a guerrilla fighter. That's entrenchment speed. You're not going to need entrenchment speed. So we'll hold off. How is my economy looking these days? We're still probably about 5%, 6%? 3%. Our economy is fine. Okay, so Auchinleck's crew has arrived. Advancements in convoy defense. Jolly good. So let's get the Royal Armoured Corps. The Fighter Command. Or Coastal Command. Let's do Coastal Command. Because I'm going to be wanting to use Spitfires for a little while. And this gives me access to patrol and naval bombers. And it doesn't matter which one I do, they all lead to bomber defense planning. Which is a whole bunch of free air bases, which would be nice. And how's construction coming along? So Warwickshire is almost actually fully built up now. Do we have anywhere else that we could put more factories? No. So let's do that. Cruiser Mark II. Cool. So we got all the tank models now. We could get the Lord Carrier for the upgraded truck. Could also go for the King George class. Let's do that. Make sure that we have more up-to-date ships. I'm maxed out already. Research finished. The Munich Conference, German demands for the Sudeten region of Czechoslovakia, where a significant number of ethnic Germans live, has come to a head. Adolf Hitler has positioned forces along the Czechoslovakian border in preparation for an attack. Talks are being held in Munich between Britain, France, Italy and Germany in the hopes of negotiating a peaceful end to the Sudeten crisis. What will the British position be? The Czechs are on their own. The Czechs are here, but there are no balances. At a summit held in Munich, Britain, Germany, France and Italy sought to find a diplomatic solution to the so-called Sudeten crisis. Czechoslovakia was not invited to attend. An agreement was reached in which Germany annexes Sudetenland, but will not pursue any further territorial gains in Europe. Mr. Chamberlain spoke to crowds in London. For the second time, a Prime Minister has returned from Germany, bringing peace with honour. I believe it is peace for our time. We've been spared another war. We can stop playing now, guys. It's done. Chamberlain sorted the problem. It would be funny if there wasn't. A chance of the game just stops there. It's just like, yeah, you did it. Success. Well done.
Some of you perhaps have already heard what it contains, but I would just like to read it to you. We, the German Führer and Chancellor, and the British Prime Minister have had a further meeting today, are agreed in recognizing that the question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe. We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again. We are resolved that the method of consultation shall be the method adopted to deal with any other questions that may concern our two countries, and we are determined to continue our efforts to remove possible sources of difference and thus to contribute to assure the peace of Europe.
The question of Yugoslavia. The Treaty of Munich might mean peace in our time, or it may not. Germany is hardly the only country seeking to redraw the borders of Europe. The government of Prince Paul has so far been surprisingly mum about the fate of their main armament supplier. This has made quite a few people in the diplomatic service wonder if the Yugoslavians knew what was going to happen, and may in fact have agreed to it. We should consider reminding them that any sort of agreement with Germany is considered a hostile act if war were to break out. So we can send a special representative, and I think that is probably what we'll do. I'm going to build one factory worth of Bristol Bombays. Which we'll take from the close air support. And then we also want to start building some Hurricanes. The question is, how many? Let's queue up 5, and we'll just fill them as the military factories get done. That'll have to do. Don't get me wrong, doesn't bother me at all to answer about the mod, but isn't it in the title of the stream not displayed correctly? It is in the title of the stream, but people don't seem to realise that World Ablaze is the name of the mod. That would be my guess.
Attention!
Okay, so Auchinleck's colonial troops are now trained. Fortunately, I can't get any others. Yes, Portugal, you can buy my ships, that's fine. Shouldn't I stop buying excess material? It's not really excess because I'm buying it from my minions. So yeah, I could probably reduce the amount of iron imports I'm getting, but I kind of want to just maintain these purchases because it's only one factory. So I'm getting 40 for one. 15 for one, 142 for one, 105, oh no, for British Malaya I'm actually spending more, 78 for one. In fact, you are not sending me what you're promising. So yes, I will reduce those imports, save myself a factory. Okay, so no further appeasement. We're done. We're drawing the line in the sand. Appeasement has failed, and to continue this policy now is folly. It is clear that our enemies will not back down and insist on demanding more and more. We must stop them now before we give them even more advantages. No, I still feel like that should be done after the annexation of Czechoslovakia. So let's get the bomber defense. And I can also get air doctrines, right. So, this is either or, so we can get the dive bombing, which is ground attack. We can get level bombing, which is multi-role fighters, and attack bomber, ground attack. Close air support, attacker, strike. So we don't actually get access to attackers until here. And then at that point I think it becomes a question of boat fighter versus hurricane. So the boat fighter is basically a tactical bomber ground attack guy. I think I'd still use the hurricanes. Because the ground attack stats not that much different. You do have more range, which is a benefit. But I'm not really expecting range to be a problem. Maybe in Africa? Meanwhile, the hurricane is the multi-roll, so yeah, I think I'm going to buff the multi-rolls, because I'm definitely going to be using those pretty much throughout. Except that is close air support. No, we already decided that we like the current multi-roll. Does that stay true throughout? The annoying thing is there are like 3 different planes that do the same job now. So if we look at the 42 version, okay, my shift key is not working. There it is. See, the range of the bow fighter gets just ridiculous. But the ground attack stays higher on the Typhoon. Actually gets higher. Bow fighter becomes more about anti-ship, but then at that point I would be using the patrol aircraft, which is these guys. Naval attack of 25. Same. Except these guys have a much bigger range. And they're cheaper too. Yeah, I don't really see the reason to build attackers for us, so we're going to go with the multi-roll. One other thing to check. How does the Typhoon compare to the Henley? 1922. So the close air attack of these guys is significantly better, but you are so much better at fighting other planes, and I'm expecting to be kind of outnumbered in the air. Sorry, multi-roll. That's what we're doing. Done.